This is George from compareskateboards.com, and maybe recently you thought, why not get an electric skateboard? Why not get the MAX2 Pro series from Maxfind? Because that's a cool looking board. It only comes for 469 USD and it offers some decent specs. But you're wondering, what do I really get if I pay that much money? So you came to the right place. Here's a short video review of the MAX2 Pro Series Dual, and I also show you the 5 things I do not like about this board here and the 5 things I do like about this board, and also give it a final rating. So check it out and enjoy. But before we start with all the testing, let's do a quick unboxing and maybe one info up front. The shipping of this board from China to Germany took only 2 weeks, to be precise, from Hungary to Germany, because there seems to be a warehouse of Maxfind. And this was even sent during the middle of the Corona crisis, so shipping seems to be fairly quick. And I think they also have a warehouse in the US, so I think shipping is okay. But now to the unboxing. So the board is shipped like this, in this box here. And if I open this, it looks like this, and it's packed pretty well. So I don't think it's possible that you see any damage on this board. And voila, that's the board. So maybe we talk design first, because I have not seen a better skateboard design yet. I think this board is really, really gorgeous. So here's some shots. So if we move on, unpacking this, we find a manual, which is the typical skateboard manual, apart from some funny drawings telling you what to do and what better not to do. And then you'll find pretty much all the typical stuff. Charging equipment for the remote and the board. You'll have the, I forgot the name of this Chinese wholesaler remote, which works like this. You turn it on, you have 3 speed modes, and you speed up like this and you brake like this. So the standard remote, which is not particularly pretty, but it works very, very well, and it's quite intuitive. So I really like those remotes. And you also have some tools, which you also get with each and every electric skateboard. And also some quality control. Luckily it has passed all checks. Operation is pretty simple. You have a on button right here. If you press that, then you see a blue light. And if it's not blinking, it means already connected. Same here, means it's connected. If, for example, I switch off the remote like this, press and hold, then this should start blinking, which it does, so no connection. And then if I turn it back on, I move the wheels. It sounds like this. Let me do it in full speed. So that's it. And if you buy the single edition, then you'll get only 1 motor, and the dual edition has 2 motors, which is indicated by those 2 power cords here, 1 for each engine. And the quality seems really, really good. Solid trucks and a very sturdy material, very strong plastic here. So this is plastic. I don't think you'll really be able to break this. At the front, same here. So everything looks really, really high quality. So that's a good board. And this here is not the typical grip deck that you get with a normal skateboard. This is also some very strong plastic cover. I think maybe that's due to the fact that this board is IP65 proven, which means if you put water on this, this can withstand that. So this is pretty much waterproof. Although I still would not recommend to ride this in the rain. I don't think that's ever a good idea with electric skateboards. So yeah, that's it about the board. Let's check the deck flexibility. As expected, nothing. But let's check one more thing. How does this thing fit into a backpack? Because it's a rather small and tiny board. So here's a ski backpack, I think 60 liters or so. You can open it like this, which is kind of cool, and squeeze it in. Yeah. Does not look too bad. So. Okay. Nice sunset here. Can you see that? Here. So that's a German summer day. Air is nice, and I test the ride quality, which so far is pretty good. Yeah, very stiff, but this actually makes it a lot of fun. Because like this. I don't know if you'd be able to do this because you can push it nicely with the second leg. In fact, the first small electric skateboard I ride, I've only experienced this with longboards, and this is a nice alternative. Maybe not so much for cruising out here in the countryside, but this ride quality in the city, that's pretty awesome, I think. So let me do an acceleration test. So the road is flat here. This should give you a nice impression of how this thing accelerates. And I put it in the slow mode, and here's how fast it goes. Like this. Yes, come on. Probably only for beginners. So medium mode, and off we go. Okay, now you feel the power. There are the two modes which push you, and medium mode is okay. A lot faster than the slow mode. So then let's try it out. Dual motor fast mode acceleration with full power. I won't go too fast because I'm not wearing a helmet, which I do recommend. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think there's a big difference in the initial acceleration, but it keeps on pushing. Yeah, it's perfect. I don't think there's a big difference in the first meters, but after then it gets quick pretty fast, a little bit too fast for me. So here's the one trick I know. And even that trick I don't get right. So speedometer activated. Let's check how this thing brakes from typical cruising speed, 14, 5, 15 miles per hour. Brakes like this. So just brake like medium or so, and I think they do it on purpose, because if it would brake faster than that, and then you'd fall off this board. Maybe kind of a compromise. So braking fits the board, huh? Can you say that? So what I'd like to show you is, because I get the question from time to time, how these boards ride if the motor dies. So let's do exactly just that. Just turn the motor off. So here's the ride quality if I turn the motor off. So watch me skate. Ah, nice, okay. You don't hear any motor noise. It's just that quiet, so not too bad. So I am again at the most steepest place here in the whole area, and this bridge is a challenge to each and every skateboard because it is, I think, a 20% climb at least. So let's see how the Maxfind Dual Pro does this bridge. Not a problem at all. This is impressive. So it just goes up this bridge without a single problem. Wow, that's really impressive. I tested this with the own board W1S and it failed this bridge. And this board just seems like it treats this bridge like a flat road. So climbing abilities are really good. See how steep this is? So back at home, I'd like to briefly talk about the specifications of this board because that probably matters a lot to you and it also does to me. So what I would do is to go to compareskateboards.com, of course, and pick the most recent boards to see the latest technology. And then you want to go for only the smaller boards because I assume that if you're interested in the MAX2 Dual Pro, you're only interested in smaller boards. If you're not, and if it's only about ride comfort, then I'd generally recommend to go for a long board. So, but if you're interested, just pick the smaller boards, which I do now, and the most recent ones are the Meepo Mini 2 and the Backfire Mini, and also the Maxfind 2 series, of course. And there you see that the MAX2 Pro Dual has quite some competitive specs. 15 miles of range, 24 miles per hour speed. So only the Mini 2 ER extended range has better specs in this regard, but I mean the speed doesn't matter so much in my opinion. It's, you know, you're riding a short board, and if you ever went above 20 miles per hour, you know that that's already quite fast. So I would not pay that much attention to the top speed. It's more about the torque, and you have a dual motor in both boards, so pretty comparable to me. About the weight, the Maxfind 2 is a lot lighter, with 12 pounds compared to 16 or 18 pounds at the Meepo's boards, and the Backfire with 13 pounds, a little bit heavier. And it seems to be that the Maxfind series the only board, they are the only boards that are water resistant. So specs are quite alright. So here we are. I did ride this board now for quite some time, and I made up my mind. Here are the 5 things I do like and the 5 things I don't like about this board. So the number 1 thing I don't like is the deck. I'm used to riding normal skateboard decks, so this plastic cover feels a little bit unnatural to me, but you get used to it, and I think that's the price you need to pay if you want to have a water resistant board. Number 2, battery indicator. It does not have a battery indicator, and it would be cool to have one to always see how much power is left in this board. So maybe in the future add that to the list of specifications. Number 3 is the brakes. I like them to be a bit more sharp, but I assume they do it this way because they are very gentle to use so that you don't fall off your board. Here's my number 4, which I cannot read anymore. Yeah, okay, so number 4 is that the ride feeling is a little bit more numb than I'm used to my regular longboards. So you can do some nice turns, but it just feels a little bit more, yeah, numb is probably the best word. But I think that's just due to it being a short board. And number 5 is the remote. They use the same remote, for example, as own board, and I've covered this remote in other video in detail. I generally do like this remote. It could be, this plastic could be a little bit more, it just looks cheap, yeah? So, could be better. So now the positive things. Number 1, you could have guessed it, is of course the design. This board just looks awesome, yeah? It's light, it's handy, it looks good, so that's my absolute number 1. And number 2 is the price. Pricing for such boards now in the $400 range, $500 if you want to get the dual motor. Just nice that these things are available for such prices today. In 2017, this would have cost, I don't know, 2,000 USD or so. So that's quite good. The power, dual motors, that's my number 3. Yeah, so dual motor power is so cool. Yeah, it just keeps on pushing if you go. So that's my number 3. Number 4 is the service. So I've been in contact with them for, not because I had issues with the board, but I had questions about the board, and they answer always right immediately. And also the shipping, as I said, only took a couple of days, which I find quite remarkable for a Chinese company. So that's good. And my number 5, and also maybe the most important thing I like about this board, number 5, is that you can ride the MAX2 Dual Pro like a regular skateboard. There's absolutely no real limits to that. If, for example, I go for a walk, I sometimes do not pick the remote. I just take this board and ride it and push it like a regular skateboard. So that's quite fantastic. So here's my final verdict, and I'll put that, of course, on compareskateboards.com, where you can also rate your board. Feel free to do that, please. You help other users if you do. And my final rating is 4.5 out of 5 stars. So that's quite a good rating. I'm not one of the guys who's not critical, but this board is just convincing me. So 4.5 out of 5, and I put that on Compare Skateboards. Please hit the like button if you do like this video, click subscribe, and see you around.